Over the years, there's been an ongoing narrative that men are simple creatures. Well, we don't like to label men as being simple, but we do like to think that many times what you see is what you get. From figuring out if they like you to how they feel about your tummy roll, guys aren't trying to send you mixed signals. Just wait until we reveal what things guys love that you didn't even realize. But before we get into it, if this is your first time visiting our channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button to see more videos like this one. Now on to 10 things women don't realize about men. You'll know if he likes you. When it comes to dating, figuring out if a guy likes you isn't all that complicated. There is a pretty good chance that he will let you know. Whether it's complimenting you, showing up, or initiating conversation, there are various ways men show their interest. And when you have his attention, he will do everything in his power to make sure he has yours. Many women don't realize this about men. Instead, they would rather spend their money on books or articles that help them decode what men are thinking. If you feel like you have to figure out what is going on in his mind, it may mean he's not that into you. Men waste no time going after what they want, and if it feels like he isn't pursuing you, it's probably because he doesn't want to. They aren't trying to be mean, they just don't chase things that they aren't interested in. The good news is, men are usually pretty honest with their feelings as long as you're willing to listen. If you are ever confused about how a guy feels, you should just ask him. If they like you, they'll tell you. If they don't, at least he will know exactly where you stand. And you should never settle for a guy that does anything less than adore you. They are powerless when dating. Now, don't get us wrong, of course men have power in relationships and there shouldn't be power struggles after the relationship is exclusive. But there is a trend of women not realizing just how much power they have in the dating world. If you haven't noticed, pretty much everything guys do, from dressing to picking a job, is used to attract the right woman in his life. Of course, this isn't always the case, but women have been influencing straight men's actions for centuries. And the thing is, a guy can have all the money in the world and be the most attractive guy on the planet, but at the end of the day, he still has to get a yes from a potential date. And that means that though the guy is setting himself up to get the yes from someone he likes, he is utterly powerless in her decision. If you think about it, the dating world revolves around women saying yes to men. But for some reason, many women haven't figured this out yet. So the next time you think a guy has the upper hand in the early stages of dating, just sit back and realize your worth. Women actually have more power than they think, and every guy knows that. The 3-year rule. Though it doesn't always seem like it, men do actually plan for a future with you. They just like to hit personal milestones first, like being set up financially and having the career they want. So when you are in a relationship with a guy who seems to have everything together, it can feel really promising. Then as time goes on and you hit all the relationship milestone boxes, you may feel like it won't be long until you walk down the aisle. Then you move in together and you think it's the final step before you get the ring, right? Well, if you've lived with a guy for over 3 years and he hasn't popped the question, there is a pretty good chance he's never going to. This is because men have a different view of what moving in together means. Women think it is a step towards marriage, and men see it as taking a test drive. So if you think about it, how many people would test drive something for 3 years without committing to it? Sounds a little insane, right? Men don't do this intentionally, of course, but if you've let them test drive your living situation for that long, they may get comfortable without having to purchase anything. Or in this case, he's getting whatever he wants without having to commit to forever with you. There are always exceptions to the rule, but if he hasn't committed after 3 years, it may be time to rethink what you want. If you snoop, you will find. Has your significant other ever left their phone somewhere and you knew they wouldn't be back for a while? It may be tempting to look through your guy's phone in these situations, but we are telling you now you aren't going to like what you see. There is a pretty good chance if you are looking at his phone, you want to find something that will upset you. And more times than not, you will take offense to just about anything that seems off. But that doesn't mean your guy was actually doing anything wrong or betraying your trust. Have you ever seen the meme that says, "Every man's last words, delete my browser history"? Well, that's because guys look up some pretty weird things when they are lurking on the internet. And when they do so with the intention of you and everyone else never finding out what those weird things are. That doesn't mean what he is looking up would hurt you or your relationship. It just means he is curious. And he doesn't want to be punished or embarrassed for his innocent curiosities. If you have insecurities, it's better just to tackle your issues head on with a conversation. Hopefully, that will put your mind at ease and you won't have to invade his privacy. They are fixers. It's always nice to be able to talk about your problems with your significant other, especially when you feel like they totally understand you. But sometimes things can get a little lost in translation when you're trying to communicate with your man. If you've ever vented to a guy and they tried to fix your problem instead of listening, it may get a little frustrating. This is because when a guy hears you complain or vent about something, he would much rather fix the problem. In his eyes, your energy should be spent trying to resolve the issue at hand and not talking about it. Whether it's because society has put pressure on them or it's just their biology, men are natural fixers. On the other hand, women are natural listeners, so you can see how troubles with communication could arise. To avoid these issues altogether, you should just tell a guy that you want them to listen. They may have thoughts in their heads on how they would fix the situation, but at least they will know to keep it to themselves. But if you do genuinely want his advice, you should also tell him. This way, he can help you resolve your problem, and who knows, it may actually bring the two of you closer together. Playing games won't work. Women spend tons of money on books that tell them how to navigate the dating world and the minds of single men. If you've ever read any of these books, then you know they are full of some great advice. But you should take any advice with a grain of salt if it means playing mind games with a potential partner. Women get stuck overthinking dating, and these books tell them to apply rules like don't double text him or don't accept a date on Saturday if he doesn't ask you by Wednesday. But this isn't how real life works, and usually guys aren't even paying attention to these things. If they genuinely want a relationship with you, a double text isn't going to scare them away. In fact, if a guy actually cares that you text him twice in a row, there's a good chance you don't want to be with him anyway. All we are trying to say is, don't play games with guys. It will only end up in disaster for everyone involved. Instead, try to be authentic and confident, and if they are interested, they will let you know. As we mentioned earlier, guys have no problem going after someone they are really into. So, just trust the process and leave the games to the children to play. They love all of you. No, we aren't saying men love all the women in the world, though that wouldn't be shocking. We are saying that when you are dating a guy, there is a good chance he loves everything that is you. Your flaws, the way you move, even the way you laugh. If a guy is into you, he's definitely digging everything you are bringing to the table. Many women don't realize that when guys fall for them, they are falling for the complete package. That means you shouldn't overanalyze your body, imperfections, or how you sweat when you can't ride a bike. Okay, we made that last one up, but you know what we mean. Women spend more time picking themselves apart or telling a guy why they shouldn't be with them than they do actually being present and happy in the relationship. Are you worried about a little midsection roll? Well, chances are your guy loves how soft your skin feels and doesn't even realize why you would be so insecure. So, when your beau compliments you, don't just brush it off. You should accept it. Because if he is with you, he genuinely means whatever he's saying. Plus, having a little more confidence in yourself and the fact that your man loves all of you will totally drive him wild. Men cry. Brace yourselves, ladies. We aren't sure if you know this, but men are human. I know, shocking, right? That means they are capable of feeling very human emotions, even ones that will bring them to tears. This may be hard to believe, but it's not a guy's fault. It's actually society's. Men have been conditioned to think that showing any sign of emotion is considered a weakness. This is especially true when it comes to being hurt or wanting to cry. And we all know men are supposed to be big and strong, right? Sadly, this means a lot of guys still try to mask their true feelings and hold them in for when they are home to cry alone. And it's not just big things that make guys shed a few tears either. Have you ever watched a video online that was so touching and made your eyes water? Well, surprise, surprise, that is a human emotion that isn't exclusive to women. Though he may say he had something in his eye, there is a pretty good chance he was shedding a tear or two as well. The good news is, it is becoming more and more acceptable for men to share how they feel. Younger generations of parents aren't putting pressure on their sons to remain stone-faced when trying to deal with a difficult situation. So, though you may not realize now that guys cry, maybe someday in the future you'll realize they are just as soft-hearted as you are. They don't overanalyze. Now, we don't like to say men are simple because no human with a brain is truly simple, but when it comes to their likes or dislikes, they keep it pretty straightforward. And though there are a few exceptions to the rules, they don't try to overanalyze every move you make in a relationship. You know how you send screenshots of your text conversations with him to all of your girlfriends looking for advice? Well, that's not going to happen with a guy. Sure, he may ask a friend who happens to be around him when you text, but he isn't starting a whole group chat dedicated to analyzing every text in the conversation. That being said, you should probably take his lead. If he isn't overthinking everything you are saying, it's probably because he is confident in where the relationship is going. This is another way of him not playing games, which we've already discussed is something men actually despise. So while we are saying men aren't exactly simple creatures, they really aren't that hard to understand. They will usually tell you how they feel, and what you see is what you get. If he is showing interest in you, then just keep up whatever it is you're doing. At the end of the day, there was a reason he took notice of you in the first place. They like girly things. For some reason, advertisers and society have decided that certain products, movies, and colors are gender exclusive. Outside of products you use because of your physical anatomy, there is no reason things like shaving cream, face wash, rom-coms, or anything else for that matter should be gender specific. But that doesn't keep society from shaming men when they like something that is labeled as being girly. Did you know that guys like buying candles? Why is this such a hard thing to believe? The thought of men wanting to have a nice smelling home with the ambience of a candle shouldn't be girly, but for some reason it is. Men also like to have spa days. Spa days are great. Why shouldn't guys relax with a mani-pedi as well? Oh, and if you are cohabitating with a guy, boyfriend or not, there is a pretty good chance he is digging into all your beauty products. Your face wash, body wash, deodorant, you name it. He's going to try it and he's probably going to love it. And you know what? We don't see anything wrong with that. The most shocking girly thing that men love is romantic comedy movies. They may play like they don't want to get all snuggled with you and watch a chick flick, but they really do enjoy them. They just aren't ready to admit that to you yet. So if he is finally able to let his feminine side shine when you're around, don't give him a hard time. Society already does enough of that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to come back to the taco for more videos like this one.